What's up, everybody? Rasa and Greg Ehrenberg here for Awesemo Odds, and we are back talking NFL. And Thursday night football is upon us. We got a real barn burner. We got the Jets, we've got the Colts, we've got a giant spread, and we've got some picks for you. Before we dive in, though, our friends at BetMGM sponsoring this show. If you are a new user and you have not signed up, click the link in the description of this video, deposit $10 or more. You are going to get a risk-free bet of up to $1,000. In addition, 3 free months of Awesemo Plus Platinum. It's going to cover you in all things betting, all things DFS, for not just football, but for basketball, for hockey, any sport that we have, you are covered. All the tools built by Alex and the team. It is a great value. No reason to not take advantage. Terms and conditions apply. All right, Greg, the Jets are fighting. They are battling. We were talking before the show. Mike White might be the best quarterback in NFL history, or he might not be. That's what we're going to decide on this video. I'm going to get things started. I'm going to go real quick here. This is the one bet that I have that's not a prop. I wanted to get it out there. We've seen Thursday nights, obviously, can be a little ugly. Games can be a little methodical. I looked at the under, but I honestly found myself more interested in grabbing the points. Plus 10.5 is a good number. I'm going to take it with the Jets. I do think that obviously it's a team that still has some serious issues, but defensively they can get some pressure. Mike White has shown that he's capable, and certainly Carter in the backfield has shown that he's more than capable. This Jets team I don't think is that bad, simply put. Then you look at a Colts team. I know they have a lot of talent. Carson Wentz has to limit those mistakes. To me, it just seems like a little much. You've got a pretty reasonable total, 46.5. I'm banking that the Jets on a very short week off a big win can still keep it close. I'm going to get my card started with that. But where are you looking on this Thursday night matchup?
Yeah, and first off, I think that makes sense because so many weird things happen on these Thursday night games. I don't know that any team should ever be favored by more than 10 points on Thursday night. It's a short week. The Colts also just played a really tough overtime game against the Titans, so there's not really that much time to recover, a quick turnaround and play on Thursday. So, yeah, I agree. Not that I expect the Jets to go out and win this game or anything like that, but 10.5 points is a pretty wide spread. As for the talking point on Mike White, I just think his props are a little bit inflated because of what happened last week, and totally unexpected. Mike White goes out against the Cincinnati Bengals, ends up completing 37 of 45 passes, over 400 yards, throws for 3 touchdown passes, and now all of a sudden we're looking at this guy with a 258.5 over-under for passing yards. This is a number that would have just seemed totally insane to us had we seen this just a week ago. And keep in mind the first time we saw Mike White on the field against Patriots, he kind of sucked in that game. He didn't complete all the crazy high amount of his passes. He threw a couple of interceptions. He also still threw a couple of interceptions last week against the Bengals. So there's been positives and negatives with Mike White. The Jets are certainly allowing him to throw the ball probably more than we expected, but I think that we're looking at a guy who's just way overrated by the market because of one good game when we didn't think he was going to be good going into that game.
It's hard to argue with that. The recency bias is real. He was impressive, but honestly, and I think this kind of goes back to originally, I also think there's a small chance that the Jets are really hanging in this game, that it's not going to devolve. They're not going to need Mike White to throw the ball. I was saying before the show, man, Carson Wentz threw the ball 51 times last week. Look, I don't think that that's going to happen to either quarterback this week. That's what we want here. We want the Jets to run the ball, lean on that, burn the clock, get my 10.5. Get your under, but I do have one on the other side that I want to get your thoughts about. And before I do, I say this every time, but it's more and more important each time. If you are enjoying these videos and you're having fun on the Awesemo Odds channel, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We are over 2,000 and we're so appreciated for that. We're building quickly. We've got a lot of new things, certainly with Odd Shopper and with college basketball tipping off. I know I'm excited. Just a lot of great content here, and we appreciate you guys helping us out. I want to talk about the Colts side for a second, though. Wentz, he does things that are, I didn't think humanly possible, but he does have a true alpha on the outside in Michael Pittman. His receiving yards prop is at 68.5. Juice normally on both sides. I'm leaning over. I do think that they will have a distinct advantage on the outside, and if the game stays competitive, or even if it doesn't, honestly, this guy has shown he can just be an absolute monster. He's coming off a 15-target game where he had 10 catches for only 86 yards, but still, that'll do it. Has shown the ability to be a burner. He's got 40-plus yard receptions in a couple games. I think there's a multitude of ways he pushes over this number. What do you think about that? Anything on the Colts side that you want to say?
Yeah, I don't mind that. Although, actually, if I'm going to go with the passing angle, I think I'd be more inclined to go with Carson Wentz over 239 and a half passing yards. It's such a low number. And even if your book allows for same game parlays, maybe there's some sensible option to just say, like, hey, I'm going to take the over for Carson Wentz passing yards and the over for Michael Pittman's receiving yards, just because there is a little bit of a correlation there. And we would assume that should this game remain somewhat close, that would mean that the Colts are going to throw the ball a little bit more. So maybe even we throw in all of some of the picks we had together there, where we go with, hey, how about Carson Wentz over passing yards? We get the Jets plus 10.5 and Michael Pittman over receiving yards. And, some of the same game parlays, if you're trying to build them, I think it makes sense to correlate them. So that's actually the angle that I would go down, as opposed to Michael Pittman over receiving yards.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I have no problem with that. If you're going to tell me that Wentz pushes 250 or north, you're asking me, can someone like Pittman get a third of that, a little less than a third? I think the answer is distinctly yes. You've got Jonathan Taylor, you've got a couple other guys, but nobody that garners massive target share in this offense. So give me that. I have no problem with the Wentz prop. We'll be talking about that and more, certainly on the Thursday Night Football Betting Show live, 1 o'clock Eastern on Thursdays. But for me, for Greg, for Awesemo Odds, good luck this week in Thursday Night Football, and we'll talk to you guys soon.